Moving on now, we have question number 3 coming in from Bobby here. Hi there, Bobby. I'm looking to grow my letting agency, but I'm struggling to find a unique selling point between myself and my competition who are competing on fees. Ideally, we'd love to attract more portfolio landlords to us, but they seem very settled with their current agents, so would welcome any tips to get them to transfer to us. Okay there, Bobby. Well, good luck with your lettings business here and growing it. What you've highlighted here, Bobby, I could spend a fair bit of time answering. But I have actually answered quite a few of these points in the sort of estate agents trilogy series. And the main thing I want to point out with, having been a landlord and having been in the industry for a long time, there's a lot of misunderstanding, shall we say, and I say this with a whole lot of love and respect. There's a whole lot of misunderstanding between how portfolio landlords buy their properties and then grow their portfolio. And there's a big difference between that and how some letting agents understand how investors buy properties, and it happens because a lot of letting agents are experienced at dealing with accidental landlords or landlords that have 1 or 2 properties. They're not necessarily experienced at dealing with the other end of the scale, which is the bigger landlords who have 20, 30, 40, 100 properties under their belt. And that requires a certain switch in your thinking about how to communicate at their level in terms of how they buy and sell property, but also how they build their business. Because once you understand that bit, and that's explained very succinctly within the books, and this is not a pitch for me to sell you a book, by the way. I've just put it down because this is one of the biggest things, having interviewed hundreds of letting agents and estate agents up and down the country. It's one of the biggest roadblocks that we hit with trying to get letting agents on board with portfolio landlords. So a lot of letting agents claim that they want to work with the portfolio landlords, but because they don't understand how they actually work in practice, they can't then communicate effectively in order to win their businesses. And as a consequence, portfolio landlords won't go anywhere near the letting agent. Okay. And I'm just telling it to you straight, Bobby, because, at the risk of offending anybody, if I don't give you the plain truth here, then you're not going to get anywhere, because I'm just going to tell you what you want to hear. And that's not exactly what we're talking about. So one of the things I will say to you, well, there's a couple of things I would approach this with. First of all, it's learn to talk their language. And the first thing you can do on that is to do what we would call portfolio reviews. Okay, now this is something that I see with a lot of landlords where they don't keep an eye on their portfolio, particularly over the course of the last, shall we say, 10, 12, 14 years. With interest rates being so low, they've probably taken their eye off the cash flow ball within their portfolio. So the idea of how a portfolio landlord will buy a property is that they will buy it as a true asset, which means that property puts money in their pocket every single month. Okay, they don't buy into this myth, which is, that the property can lose money or break even every single month, and it doesn't matter because the property is going up in value. That's not how professional landlords will actually view a property. They want money coming into their pocket every single month from renting that property out. Okay, so if you're smart, you're sort of switched on to the idea that the property has to work from a rental income perspective and their monthly outgoings. Okay, and their monthly outgoings are not just the mortgage. And this is probably the biggest misnomer in property investing. The monthly outgoings, not just the mortgage. Okay, it's also the letting agency fee, and most portfolio landlords will be employing a letting agent. And it's also the cost of any repairs and maintenance that go into running that property every single year. Okay, so you've got these deductions that a portfolio landlord will have to take into account that most amateur landlords don't take into account. And when you can bridge that gap in communication, you can start to understand that a portfolio landlord thinks very differently to the amateur. The second thing that they'll also do is that they will want to buy at a discount. And this is one of the things that rubs a lot of estate agents up the wrong way, because the estate agent goes out to value the property and they put a figure on it. Let's say they put £100,000 on as a valuation. And then the property investor will come in at 70,000 and the estate agent will say, not a chance, am I going to put that offer forward? How dare you? You're offending my client, etc., etc. And ultimately, the property investor is just doing it because the numbers make sense in their business, Okay, it's not a slight against how the estate agent has valued the property at all. The property is the property is the property. It's worth what it's worth. But the biggest point is the investor wants to buy it at a discount. And that's very important for the reasons that I outline in these books. And as I say, I don't want you to I don't want to spend too much time dwelling on this because you've got to read to understand exactly what's going on. But the point of the portfolio review is to look at the income the landlord is receiving on their portfolio at the moment, what their outgoings are, and what the issue could be with their cash flow if interest rates continue to rise, which the likelihood is they will. Okay, so can you track on their portfolio their net cash flow based on interest rates rising over the course of the next 6 months? And what impact does that have on the amount of money that they get in their pocket? Because it might be that some landlords have to look now at offloading some of their properties or restructuring their liabilities, okay, in some way in order to make their portfolio work for them and continue feeding them, rather than the situation that I've seen with so many other investors where they bought properties at break even or they're losing money on, and then they continue over a long period of time losing money or breaking even. Then something comes along like an interest rate rise and it wipes them out. Okay, so hopefully that helps you, Bobby, in terms of the mindset and the understanding. But the second thing, probably the third thing now, is that if you really want to bag a portfolio landlord, the way to do it is sort of one step at a time. And the biggest first step that you can take is to help them find property deals. So the most successful letting agents that I've seen who have built very solid businesses have done it in a way where they go out and they find the property that they want the property investor to buy. All right. It's a very, very cunning way of building your letting agency, because by going out and finding the property, you're automatically offering something of massive value to your investor list. Now, all of a sudden, imagine that you've got this one property that you know that you've got secured at a below market value figure, and you go out to your list of 10 investors and you say, I've got this property of interest. Okay, this is what it's worth. This is what I can, buy it for. Who wants to buy it? Okay. Now, the property investor that buys it, you're going to charge them a sourcing fee for finding the deal, first of all. The second thing you're going to say to them is that you want to maintain the relationship of letting and managing that property for them. Okay, so you're entering into a trade here, and you have now an opportunity to not only secure a sourcing fee, you potentially have an opportunity to get a project management fee for renovating the property. Okay, and then the third thing you have the opportunity to do is to keep the property for a long time on your books, and then wow that portfolio landlord with your great level of service. And by doing that, you're putting yourself in a strong position where the landlord then has to compare the service they're getting from you and the service they're getting from their current letting agent. And if those two don't measure up, that's how you will bring the portfolio landlord onto your books. Okay, but virtually nobody else in the industry will tell you this, Bobby, because fundamentally they don't understand how property investors truly think. And I know because I've trained hundreds of them, if not thousands of them. And I'm not saying that to boast, but I'm telling you that's the facts of the matter. And as a consequence, I know exactly how they think and exactly how they're going to approach things when it comes to you talking to them. And it's no word of a lie, Bobby, that I've walked into letting agents and I've talked to them about building a property portfolio in the area, and I've had letting agents scoff at me and say, well, why would you want to build a property portfolio? I hate tenants. That's the letting agent telling me that they hate tenants, and yet for some reason they're a letting agent. Okay, it's just bizarre, but obviously this is not all letting agents. This is rare examples, but the point of me telling you this is to help you understand that when you go out to the marketplace with a different mindset, then a different level of knowledge, then of course you're going to appeal to a different market. Okay, and as I say, that's all contained within the Estate Agency Trilogy series. So if you want a copy of those books, Bobby, reach out to me, let me know, and we'll get those in the post to you straight away, because I think it'll really help you to understand things from a very different perspective. The final thing you can do, of course, is to put a nurturing campaign in place where you regularly nurture those leads through providing valuable information. And I know big hitters in the industry like Sally Lawson talk about this a lot in terms of, educating the landlords and bringing them up to date with changes in legislation and all that sort of thing. That's not my speciality. Changes in legislation, frankly, are not that interesting to me, and it's not something that I really want to spend a lot of time dwelling on. But in terms of how to attack the portfolio landlords from a different angle where you offer massive value to them, that's something we can definitely help you with. All right. So hope that helps, Bobby. It might be a bit of a long-winded answer, but I think you've got value there in terms of what I've shared, because this is exactly the thing where I see a lot of letting agents tripping themselves up, and all over social media I can see that they want to achieve this ambition of getting portfolio landlords on their books, but they can't work out how to do it because there's a fundamental piece of the jigsaw that they're missing, which is exactly what I've just outlined, and which is exactly what we talk about in volumes 1, 2, and 3 of Estate Agent Secrets. All right. So thanks for that, Bobby. And anything else you need to say, let me know, and I'm more than happy to help you out as much as I can. All right. That wraps up all of the questions that I've had submitted in today. So I hope this has been informative for you guys. As always, I really appreciate all of the questions that you guys are sending in as part of our WiggyWam community. Please, 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 if you have friends or family members that are currently moving house or thinking about moving house, please enroll them onto these webinars. As I say, it's not for me to blow my own trumpet or get in front of a wider audience, other than to help and support them, because a lot of these questions that come out the woodwork can be the difference between a very successful move and a not so successful move. So I'd love to help as many people as we can with these webinars. We take the time to do them every week for precisely this reason of answering questions like we've just had. And I love sharing a little bit of helpful advice and knowledge. And again, if we can get people the answers that they're looking for, because what I've found, guys, from spending 20 plus years in the industry, is when people have got a problem like this, sometimes just one sentence can change the course of their lives. And I know that sounds drastic, but I've had it before where one guy in particular was dealing with a particular problem, and for love nor money, he just couldn't resolve that issue. But one little conversation, one little piece of information fundamentally changed the course of his life, because he was able to sort out the problem and put that weight of indecision and that weight of carrying that burden of that problem around, put it all down and move on. So that's the reason why we take the time to do this, guys. There are tens of thousands of people who are frustrated with their moving journey. And as much as I want to try and answer as many questions as I can through things like the books that I'm putting out there, and these webinars, there are, as I say, thousands of other people that need help and support. So please do share these podcasts with and these webinars with as many people as you can. Please invite them to our weekly webinar. Please invite them to the WiggyWam website, which is wiggywam.co.uk, and invite them to send their questions in to us at happytohelp at wiggywam.co.uk, or ask them to send them in via Twitter. And our Twitter handle is at WiggyWam_UK. That's at WiggyWam_UK. All right, guys. So thank you once again for joining me here today. I'm looking forward to next week's webinar already. And that will be my final one before I jet off to India. But I will be doing this from abroad. I don't quite know how the time difference is going to work out. It's probably going to be very late at night with that sort of thing. But I'm very much looking forward to getting a bit of sunshine in and visiting the family over there. So as I say, anything I can do to help and support you guys, let me know. Otherwise, I will look forward to seeing you next week. All right. Thanks ever so much for joining me, and see you again very soon. Take care.